But here we go, we're live now. Alright guys, welcome back, and we're going to be getting another series underway. GiveUAnxiety has just joined the game room, and myself and Kaiserklein will be casting another best of 5. This time it's going to be a lower bracket round game, as both of them did get defeated in the first round of 64 in the upper bracket. GiveUAnxiety lost to Kaister, and he lost, I think it was 3-1 or 3-0. Let me check. It was 3-1 to Kaister. And Thomasgreen lost 0-3 to Lord Raphael. And so they both dropped down, where they face each other now in the first round of the lower bracket. And so we're going to see some different maps. We're actually going to be starting on Thar Desert today, I believe. I think we've got the vetoes here. Indeed, we do have High Plains and Florida vetoed out. And of course, the map order is just a little bit different, because the map order does change in the lower bracket compared to the upper bracket. So, looking forward to this. Kaiser, Thar Desert, a map which we rarely seen. I don't think we've seen it once today, because the round of 32 has Thar Desert right at the very end. But I like this map a lot. I think it's a very pretty map, but I also think it's a very aggressive map.
Yeah, it is. It is a very aggressive map, and it's one of these maps that are nice. They're definitely enjoyable to watch, but at the same time, the problem of these maps is that it's not. You can't play that many civs on this kind of map. It's very, I don't really find the right words, but let's say you can't go boomy, you can't go water, you can't, it's just like you have to be aggressive. There's no food and there's no TP. So,
yeah, it's awesome. I think it's a fantastic map. It's so different to everything else in the pool. And we see already GiveUAnxiety locking in the Indians here. They seem to be a really strong civ on this map.
Yeah, the fact that you get the map control basically for free in a lot of matchups thanks to the Agrafort age up, and having the strong sepoys, these strong musketeers, less reliance on food as well, just because your villagers cost wood. So yeah, it's quite a solid pick on this map, and there's also some nice wood treasures that India can pick up. Yeah. I would like Thomasgreen to maybe not go for Brits, because that would be probably a very quick game.
There you go. Russians coming in. Hey, I've seen this matchup before. Last time I saw a Thar Desert game, it was exactly the same civs. It's kind of exciting. I believe the Indians ended up winning that. Do you think it favors the Indians still, or does it just depend on how the players approach it?
That's a quite. You mean against Russia, right? It's a quite Indian-favored matchup, yeah. Maybe not as much on this kind of map, because India likes to take a trading post maybe sometimes, but they don't really need it, but it's nice. But it's still anyway quite India-favored. There's just no real window for Russia to do any damage. It's very hard to push into the Agrafort, the Minutemen, and having that to sepoy age up, the elephants also. I mean, there's just so much stuff for India. Without doing anything, he's getting like so much to defend. And then if you let India just mass, you probably can't kill the army anymore.
Okay.
Because they have, in this specific matchup, they have dragoons in H2, they have skirmishers, they have everything they need to fight Russia.
They're strong, and it looks like he's locking in with Russia as well. So GiveUAnxiety is on India here. Thomasgreen is on Russia, and to be honest, I don't know who to cheer for. Thomasgreen because he's from the UK, or GiveUAnxiety because I casted with him yesterday. It's a tough choice, so I guess we'll have to be neutral for this one. What a shame. Let's lock in and go into our first match here. Game number 1 between Thomasgreen and GiveUAnxiety. It's going to be Russia versus India on Thar Desert, and as Kaiserklein was just saying, sort of thinking it favors the Indians here. We'll have to see though. I mean, there's a lot of raiding potential, and we could definitely see a lot of Cossack action from the Russia player, I believe.
Yeah, and it's also, despite being very India favored, in my opinion, it is easier to play from the Russia side. It's just always easier to be Russia and rushing your opponent than being India and having to pull up the really good defense, right? It's easy to lose villages, to just like it easily snowballs into a loss if you just don't defend properly early on. So there is room for mistakes here and just like Russia winning it for sure.
Yeah, so here we go. We're getting off now with Thomasgreen playing in the green up to the northwest of the map. Russia, as we said already, down to the south in the purple. It's GiveUAnxiety with the Indians. We'll see what treasuring they can get done here as they start the game by immediately scouting out and seeing what they can find. There's a pretty weak treasure next to Thomasgreen's base. He might go for this 60 food though. 2 Black Panthers guarding that, while on the other side we've got the 2 explorers of the Indians able to get a little bit more vision, a little bit quicker, and maybe finding some extra treasures to go for here around the map.
Yeah, just gonna go straight for this 85 wood, which is just so good for India, since they need to chop so much wood in H1, and just so easy to pick. You'll see if you just stomp one, then I mean not stomp, it's stun one and
forever. There it is.
Yeah, and now you see just how fast they're gonna die. Like you don't lose HP, you just don't need to micro anything, and you just kill them and you pick up the treasure. And that is one reason why this map is pretty good for India. Because there's basically the same treasure here, and he did scout it already. So he's going to have to wait a bit, and then he's going to be able to probably pick it up.
Yeah, looks like they're on a collision course with their scouts as well. Not that will matter too much, as they probably won't be scuffling for long. But yeah, I think this should be an exciting match. Who do you think this favors? Do you think GiveUAnxiety has the edge here? He did seem to perform a little better in the first round of the upper bracket. Obviously, this is a lower bracket match, and the loser of this will actually be eliminated from the tournament. Do you think it favors GiveUAnxiety, or maybe Thomasgreen has the edge?
I don't know Thomasgreen too well, but I think he's just like around captain or something. And GiveUAnxiety is definitely the favorite of this series, I think.
Oh, right, okay.
When he lost against Kaiser in the main bracket, it was actually a little bit of an upset, although they are rather close in skill, but let's say that people expected GiveUAnxiety to win it.
Right,
so he's definitely a strong player for this lower bracket.
Yeah. I mean, Thomasgreen's only a captain. I mean, I wish I could say that. You know, a captain is a very high rank to be.
But I mean, he's definitely... supposedly lower than GiveUAnxiety in terms of skill. Then we'll have to see what he can do.
I understand what you mean, and so far it does look like the treasuring has gone quite well for GiveUAnxiety. He's managed to get both of the big wood treasures, actually 85 and 90 wood, with the 30 coin on top of that, while Thomasgreen gets 50 wood and 55 coins. So I think that's really good for India to start. And I wonder if that would end up in sort of like a snowball effect. Like, does that sort of happen? Definitely. Like, just sort of you get so far ahead at the early game that you just stay ahead, and that lead grows even further. Especially
in this matchup, it's absolutely huge because I don't know if you paid attention to GiveUAnxiety's macro, but he did quite a good job. Although now he's blocking his aggro, he needs to lay it down. Okay, he starts aging, but. He did a good job at like taking the treasures into account to macro almost perfectly. So he had like no wood left. He just queued all his villagers using the wood treasures. So that means obviously he was able to have more villagers and food and to age up earlier. So that's especially in this matchup where you're probably going to be pressured by Russia. If you can age up early, it's a huge deal. Like it just changed the matchup completely. And he's also setting 2 Wield on his aggro fort, so he is going to be able to age up rather early. And it's not going to be easy for Russia to do any damage. Well, but yeah, it will most likely snowball into a very comfortable colonial age for India.
It's definitely going to be interesting. And I mean, Thomasgreen is not going to be dissuaded here. He will come forward 3 villagers, in fact, to build a blockhouse, desperately getting that up here and ready in time for that colonial age. What are we expecting to open with here? Is it better to open with Strelet?
Yeah, traditionally in this matchup, you go for Strelets, just because if you ship 5 Cossacks, you have enough cav to deal with any cav India will make, because India will not make cav. They might ship 4 Sowars, but if you have 5 Cossacks, then you can kill the Sowars. And then Strelets are just better at idling, because they're so cheap, they tank so much, and they like it's not efficient to kill Strelets with TC Fire, for example. So it's very good to idle. Now, one thing I would like to say that I'm not sure about this blockhouse placement here is it's not covering any food. And maybe on the other side here, like somewhere there, between these 2 hands would have been more interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
for Russia
I see that.
control a bit more resources.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's kind of just directly in front of him, isn't it? It's like if you were to draw a line between the two town centres, this is kind of just slap bang there in the middle. But he's going to train 5 muskets to start, and we're going to see them popping out now with the 5 Cossacks. We'll see if he can do anything with this. It's not going to be so straightforward. The 2 Sepoy will catch the Explorer there, and he's probably going down very, very low.
I think GiveUAnxiety is shipping 4 Sowas now, because he's got quite a lot of space taken. Or maybe he's just queuing Sepoys, and no, he's shipping 5 Sepoys, so he's gonna defend it very easily. But that's not too bad for Russia. He didn't lose any unit, and he forced a unit shipment. So he shipped Cossacks himself, but that's kind of normal as Russia. Like, you can't afford to ship unit shipment first. But for India, it's a bit painful to be shipping these 5 Sepoys. So, well, not much happened. But it's not looking too bad for either of these players.
Oh, and here you go, Sepoy on the left side, kind of getting caught a little bit. And, you know, Thomasgreen's actually getting quite a lot done with this army, not losing too much at all just yet. And the Sepoy now going to try and turn. The musket's there, though, and still keeps all of his army alive. Thomasgreen preserving absolutely everything down to the last little bit of HP, 18 HP on that Cossack there as he starts training some Strelets. Now, one thing I noticed, he's not done hunting dogs here. Is that something to be worried about, or is this all part of the plan?
He doesn't have hunt dogs. Well, he went for an aggression with like 3 villagers on the blockhouse, and I didn't check he probably didn't make a market transition. So he probably got that market out of the 400 wood age up. So he's getting the hunt dogs now. It's maybe a little bit late, but it's not too bad. Okay. I want to say, since he did basically nothing with his units, it's a bit sad, right? I mean, Russia didn't do that much, and then getting hunt dogs kind of late. But then again, India also doesn't have the market upgrades.
Oh no, he's just sent the 700 wood to his forward blockhouse here. And he's got to send those 3 villagers tracking back across the map, and it feels like such a waste of villager time, right? You send them all the way across the map to build the blockhouse, you walk them all the way back to start hunting, and then you have to send them all the way back again to gather the wood up. He might want to build a second blockhouse just next to the first one. It's something we see quite a lot. So then it would be okay because he's going to use the 3 builds to build the blockhouse. But if it doesn't, then it's definitely a big waste of villager seconds. And it's always risky, right? You don't want to be shipping your resources in a forward location, like even regardless of the walking time. Just because if you get pushed right now, you're in big trouble. You can't gather it, and you might even lose it. So, just not great there. But as I said, he's going for a second blockhouse, so it's not too bad. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. And actually, on the left side, we've got 3 Sepoy coming around, and he's going to find those hunts out there. Thomasgreen got 3 villagers quite exposed on the left, and even some more that might not make it back to the TC here. So we could see villager going down here. I mean, those Sepoy, a couple of volleys, and those villas are dead.
And what's nice about it is that you need exactly 6 Sepoys to one-shoot a villager. So 3 Sepoys means in 2 volleys you can kill 1. So it's nice to raid with 3 Sepoys, for example. Like you don't want to be sending, for example, 5 Sepoys, right? Because you need 6 to one-shoot. But 3 is okay.
It's a waste, I see. And it's going to be annoying. It's going to be a thorn in the side of Thomasgreen here. His economy is a little bit behind overall at the moment. And he's got this big mass of units in front of GiveUAnxiety's base, but he's not really able to do a huge amount with them. I mean, maybe he's just waiting for the moment where he's ready to go, ready to strike. It looks like he's really just going all in on the Strelet at the moment. And I'm wondering if maybe we'll see Boyars coming out soon just to buff them up a little bit more.
Yeah, probably going to see Boyars rather soon. Maybe not just now, but if not next card, probably the second next. But I think Russia is just trying to contain here because it's a very low hunt map, so he might just be able to starve India. Sorry.
Yeah.
But then again, it's India, and you can see how much food he has left in his base, while Russia is already pretty much out of food since 30 seconds or something. Like he's moving villas out of his base, and that's the problem when you're up against India. They can survive for quite a long time in their base, even with really little food. Sorry.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, obviously at the moment he's still got quite a bit of hunt left. We do have Soars in here, the mix as well as Gurkha. I imagine the Gurkha will outperform the Strelet quite comfortably, but the sheer numbers here for Thomasgreen looking quite good.
That's actually Zambaraks. They look quite a bit
there's
the same.
Zambarak. My bad.
That's dragoons, so it makes sense. He's got skirmishers and dragoons basically. But really, this is really not good for Russia here. I don't know how many vills he's lost there. Already 3 vills. He did kill 1 now with his Cossacks, but it's just 3 sepoy. Like, you can't let 3 units bother you that much. You gotta send maybe like 5 Mers back, or even like 5 units or something.
I don't know why he's not sent anything to deal with that yet. It looks like he's more interested in just sending his villagers further away to the right side. I mean, he's gathering hunt right in the northeast of the map. So, you could argue that this is working out quite well for him in the terms that, he's actually still got GiveUAnxiety kind of locked in his base at the moment. He's not really comfortable enough to push out just yet. And so, this could be pretty good for Thomasgreen if he's able to keep him in that position and keep securing the hunt around the rest of the map.
Well, if he can hold, then he wins. It's that simple, basically. Although that hunt could be brought next to the Agra fort, but basically, if he can deny the food to India, he wins. It's that simple, regardless of eco. But will he be able to do that? He has a ton of streetlets, but he didn't ship boyars. And maybe not the best time to push before boyars. Maybe he should wait for that card.
That Agra fort has nailed so many Cossacks this game. Like, it's unreal. He keeps sending them in. They keep dying. But here we go. That's a lot of Cossack. Sorry, not a lot of Cossack. A lot of Strelet even. But also a relatively large number of Gurkha at this point. And at the moment, they're quite even on unit population, which tells me that GiveUAnxiety is well ahead. Because these Strelets are just like pea shooters. And these Gurkhas actually have something to fire.
Yeah, right.
Here we go.
But I don't know, that fight could be okay for Russia, but he really should wait for boyars here. His whole army would get upgraded by 50
boost,
attack. Yeah. I don't know how this is gonna go. I think the Cossacks are gonna melt a little bit too quickly here. Then again, it's not too bad for Russia, just because he as long as he keeps trading his units, he might be able to contain India, but I think he's just going to lose too many units here.
Possibly, and these Cossacks at the back more interested in killing off that villager than getting in the front lines and actually killing the Gurkha here. But with that said, there's a lot of Zambarak, and obviously the Cossacks do melt to those pretty quickly as well. Pretty clear then, GiveUAnxiety pulling ahead considerably in that engagement. He's got the military unit population lead right now, and he's still ahead economically as well. We are seeing more Strelet, more Cossack being trained, but we still don't see Gurkhas out just yet. It might be on the way, but yeah, I'm just a little bit worried for Thomasgreen.
Yeah, GiveUAnxiety doing a good job asking Thomasgreen around, and Thomasgreen honestly not doing the greatest job at responding. He even lost a house here to 3 sepoys, which is just not okay because it takes a long time to do that, and he's getting pushed off food everywhere. He has no villager gathering right now.
Yeah, that's hard. That is hard. And he's getting raided absolutely everywhere. Finally, we see boyars coming in. But he's lost far too many villages at this point. I think the only way he comes back from this is if he makes a big push now and he wins it. But even with boyars, it's not... I don't think it's enough against this. I mean, this is an insane army from GiveUAnxiety right now.
Less than half of the mass of India here. And he does have boyars, but India also has camel attack, which is a very good card. It's 30% attack. Usually the H2 upgrades give you 15% HP or 15% attack, right? Boyars gives you boss, but the Indian camel attack gives you 30% attack, so it's pretty good. And well, that's just too much stuff for India. He's also ahead. He has enough hunt here, because you could say, yeah, but Russia got the map control, but who cares? Because India's got just enough food here in the bottom of his base.
Yeah, and does Russia really have the map control? I mean, we say he's got this sort of forward base and he's keeping GiveUAnxiety contained, but he's also got 10 sepoy walking around his base and 6 redcoats up in the north denying his hunt as well. So he's not been active enough to actually keep GiveUAnxiety locked in his base here, I think.
He has some map control, but he doesn't do the greatest job at just like catching raids and stuff, basically. Right. But he has more map than India for sure. India is contained in this little corner, but he needs to deal with his musketeers raids, and he lost another house and his house right now, and it's just, I don't think there's a comeback at this point. Even the scores, I mean, Russia always has a bit of a lower score for some reason than what they actually have. but still, like, that's
Misleading.
just yeah.
Yeah, I'm worried. I mean, like this rating is crazy, and like he's sieging down this house next to the TC, and Thomasgreen still mining the coin over here.
But he's sending in, that is GG probably. There's just enough Sowar to just like block the Cossacks. The Cossacks are being DPS down by the Zemburaks in the back, and then nothing to shield the Strelets anymore from this cav, and it's gonna be GG.
Yeah, GiveUAnxiety there just has this much better mass of units. I think with the Soar coming in as well to tank at the front a little bit, that just gives those Zambrak just a little extra time to do damage. They've also got the Dravidian martial arts upgrade, giving
them double card, and they have 45% extra damage.
Yeah,
29 attack instead of 20. And look at these sepoys, right? Like circle sieging the Green Town Center for some reason. So kind of showing dominance here from GiveUAnxiety, just like sieging the TC. But yeah, I think it's a mix of lots of mistakes from Thomasgreen there. First getting raided so much and never bothering to actually defend the raids. Also not making villagers constantly, I think, because he should have more vills even after being raided. He just didn't make vills at some points, I'm sure. And then, just fighting before Boyas, taking that one big bad fight. If you look at the military graph, that fight is horrible for Russia. It's even more horrible than what I saw. Like India lost maybe 10 units, and Russia lost literally 40 units. So
like at the end of that fight, he's still on an upward trajectory, and that just massive drop there for the Russian army. I do wonder how much Boyas would have had an effect. I still think that the Indian army would have been very effective just because he had the wider variety of units available, and he had some, he had the Zambarak there to counter the Cossacks very effectively from the back. But still, I think Boyas would have probably made enough of a noticeable difference.
Yeah, it would have been big. If he just didn't lose so many vills and had so much walking time with his villagers getting pushed off the hunts, and got Boyas and taken a fight, it could have been much better. He might have still lost the fight, but it would not have been that bad, killing 10 units for 40 of your own, right?
Right.
Also, like you mentioned, in that fight, he was attacking the Ville, which is never something you want to do. You always want to go first for the army. Then if you kill his army, you always can kill his Villes, right?
Yeah. For sure. So there you go. Game number 1 will go the way of GUA, and he'll pull ahead with a 1-0 lead. Game 2 would have been High Plains, but it was actually vetoed out. So we'll actually be going on to Fertile Crescent next as our second match. And since GUA did win the first game, he'll have to first pick in game number 2, giving Thomasgreen the opportunity to counter pick. But with that said, we're probably expecting to see something along the lines of French, British, German, for example, could be good pickups here, so that Thomasgreen doesn't really have that counter pick opportunity. And there you go, Germany coming in for Fertile Crescent, locked in for GUA. Just real quick, thank you very much to Purple Squid for the $20 donation. Really appreciate that. And he says, thanks guys, really enjoying these frequent streams. Well, speaking of frequent streams, we'll be back tomorrow at 17 GMT, and Mr. Kaiser here is going to be playing against Hazza in a best of 9. How are you feeling about that?
Well, I'm feeling pretty great about that. I mean, it's going to be nice. I've been playing a lot with Hazza recently, and even not that recently, actually. I've always been playing quite a lot with Hazza. And we usually have pretty good games. I'm a bit more of a 1v1 player, and he's a bit more of a team player. So usually he's having the upper hand in the team games, and I usually have the upper hand in 1v1, and I hope I will tomorrow as well, but we'll see.
Okay, well, I mean, I hope so. Well, maybe, I don't know. I hope that you have a good game. I don't want to say that I want you to win, even though, we're here on Discord together, because I want to see a good set. But, I mean, if you're going to win, you're going to win. I mean, that's going to happen, right? But we'll see. I think Hazza's a fantastic player. We saw him yesterday, casted that with GiveUAnxiety, actually, and he won 3-0 versus Jeromuno. And, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to that. I'll be casting that with Maito as well. That's the first time we'll have casted together. But it looks like I just got booted off ESO, so I'm going to try and get back on again. And if not, then we'll just quickly jump over to Game Ranger, because I think everybody here is more than familiar with Game Ranger. So let me just jump in, and I think we can, if we just ready up, we should be good to go here.
Yeah, but GUA got kicked in his turn, so you gotta wait for him to come back, and then we're probably never gonna get it to work. I mean, we can try, but
we can see. Can I join now?
You can join, yeah. My bad.
Okay, no problem.
But GiveUAnxiety is not coming back online just now. We need to be already synced. I think we might as well move to Game Ranger.
I think so. We're going to go over to Game Ranger. It's no problem. We did it earlier on. We'll do it again. And it's actually pretty straightforward. Like, when you have players who know what they're doing, like, getting it going on Game Ranger, not really a big deal. In fact, he's already got the game launched or loaded on Game Ranger. He's already up here.
Yeah, I'm talking to Thomasgreen about it. He just has to make some decks. But
okay, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll have to wait just a little bit that he builds a couple decks maybe, but
okay. Well, we know the next game is going to be Germany for GiveUAnxiety, and then we don't know what Thomasgreen picked yet. I don't think we saw him lock anything in, or did he ready up? I can't remember.
I think he was picking Germany,
okay,
but I'm not sure if it was locked. But I think we might have a German.
All right. Well, we'll see about that once we launch this game up. So apologies, guys. We're actually going to be moving over to Game Ranger real quick here. We're just going to get Thomasgreen in, and GiveUAnxiety and I are already in the game room. So we'll be launching this up very shortly, and we'll be on Fertile Crescent next. I really like this map, actually. It's a really enjoyable map to watch, as well as Pampas Sierras. I really like these two maps. I think they're well balanced, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice map. It's a newer map. Like, it's some maps like Kamchatka, which we casted previous series, if you remember, has been around for a very long time. Like, probably around it's at least 5 years as this map was made, I guess, by Gaia. And Fertile Crescent is maybe 2 or 3 years old, so it's a bit of a newer map, but it's a very good one, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's nice to see that new maps are still sort of being accepted in a way. You know, in the H2 community, we generally stick to Arabia and such, but when we do have tournaments, we do try and take the opportunity to add some newer maps as well and just see how they perform. And, you know, it's nice to see that players are willing to give it a go and figure them out, because I think that's another way you add variety, right? Like, the maps themselves can be quite, you know, subtle changes that end up being something to actually think about and sort of integrate into your gameplay. So we'll see in a moment.
Yeah, right.
I don't know who Thomasgreen is on.
I don't know, but I told GiveUAnxiety to go in the launcher to set up EP for Game Ranger.
Yeah.
So we have to do that, and then probably have to tell the same thing to Thomasgreen when we actually find him. I mean, when he comes online.
I can't wait for them all to actually come to the studio, because we'll be on LAN. So there's going to be no lag, which is going to be amazing.
Oh yeah, that's going to be sweet.
That's sure. Going to be super cool. And no lag. Everyone will have like all their decks preloaded, and everyone will be like ready to go. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, right. Lag is quite a big issue in Age of Empires 3. I don't know how it is in Age of Empires 2, but we quite easily have lag issues, and that definitely makes the difference, being able to play it out in a LAN tournament.
Yeah.
Especially for more mechanical players who like to rely on their micro. I think I am one of these players, and I really dislike playing in lag, and it's just very nice when you have no lag and you can micro as much as possible.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you have that instant response, you just have so much more like opportunity to turn a fight in your favor, knowing that you can get away with certain things. So it's really awesome, and I can't wait for that. And in H2, we do have some lag issues, but it's not that bad, I feel. Like, we often have 4v4s between like Brazil and China, and they're on opposite sides of the world to each other. You've got 4 players from China, 4 players from Brazil. and they're all connected through. They're all connected to each other, so it does get like kind of laggy, but it's only like a second or two at most.
A second or two of delay, you mean?
Usually it's less than a second.
Yeah,
sorry, less than a second. But it's like 400 milliseconds or something.
Yeah, I mean for a 4v4, I guess that's decent. You know, if I play a 4v4 anyway, I wouldn't expect it to be lagless. Honestly, no. I just like accept. But,
that's true. But you don't seem to have too much sort of non-1v1 tournaments. I know you had the General's Table. What was it called? Was it the General's Table? The Captain's Table?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. And that was a 2v2 one, right? But typically your sort of big tournaments are like 1v1, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. We have some different events. Like we had that 2v2 tourney, a couple others from ESOC. Mm-hmm. This was maybe the third 2v2 tourney overall. And we sometimes have different stuff, like time to micro tournament. It's like a micro map.
Right.
That kind of stuff. Also some treaty tourneys as well. So it's like no rush. But yeah, 90% of the time it's just 1v1 because it's considered to be the most competitive game mode, I think.
Yeah.
And it's also the way easier to skedaddle with 2 people instead of like 4. And there's also less lag issues in 1v1. I mean, there's just every reason in the world to have 1v1 20s. So yeah, it's 90% of the time we have that.
Mm-hmm. We do see that a lot in Age as well. Like at Age 2, it's much more common to see a 1v1 tournament, but the team game tournaments are still taken really seriously, actually, and it's still played very competitively. Like we have, for example, a Nations Cup where we do sort of like, national teams, and that's always been like a 4v4. And even in the ECL tournament we have, which is sort of running for a whole year, there's all of the formats, 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, and 4v4 throughout the year. So it's kind of testing the teams in their ability to play in all of the game modes. Yeah,
that's also interesting for sure.
Do you know if there's any like Chinese community in Age of Empires 3?
Chinese, not that much. I mean, the game is pretty old. Well, Age of Empires 2 is even older, right? But it has somewhat survived a bit better. And there used to be a Japanese community and a bit of a Chinese one, but among the Asian communities, it was mostly the Japanese one, which was dominant, I think. Okay. We had very strong players there, and not that many Chinese players, actually. We still have a few,
okay,
but not too many,
Right. Yeah, because we actually have quite a large Chinese community in Age of Empires 2, and they actually make up for quite a lot of the player base, actually. Which is quite interesting because they're always online, but a lot of the time they sort of play among each other, and you only really see the very best Chinese players in tournaments.
Oh yeah, that's cool then. Yeah, at some point we had like strong Asian players, but at the moment it's really European and some USA players mostly, but
yeah,
there's not that much variety at the moment in the countries.
But we're hosting a LAN for Age of Empires 2 as well, and like it's kind of scary to think that we might have to organize 8 visas for 4 Brazilians and 4 Chinese players, but the Brazilian team isn't performing too well, so I don't think they'll be able to make it now. But there's definitely an opportunity that one of the Chinese teams could make it, and we'd end up having to sort out the 4 visas for them. But that's just the way it goes. With H3, it was like, well, are we going to have any issues with getting the players to the studio? And he's like, nah, they're mostly in Europe or a couple of Americans.
Oh, there we go. Thomasgreen is here. But with the Brexit, how does it go? I mean,
no one knows. It's going to be fine.
Because even European people might have to need a visa, right?
Yeah. Well, we don't know at this point. I doubt it. I really doubt it. I don't want to get into details, but it seems at this point like it's very unlikely that much will change in the end, since a no-deal Brexit is very unlikely, and other than that, there will be sort of things in place that allows for free movement of people, so shouldn't be too much of a problem, I believe. At least I have faith that it won't be.
Yeah, I hope so, because I really want to be of this tournament.
For sure.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was just trying to fix the... Okay, yeah, I think we're good to go. Yeah, I want to be part of this tournament, but I will not finish this sentence. You guys are on Age of Empires already?
We're loading in.
Can I join that? Oh, yeah, good. Okay,
yeah,
never mind.
It's just maybe taking a little moment here to get going.
I just canceled when it was starting because I wanted to make sure that Thomasgreen had set up his launcher for Game Ranger.
Okay.
And then I wasn't joining, and then in fact I could join, and I'm coming now. But yeah, so
Okay.
I was saying, yeah, I really want to be part of this tournament, but I was wondering, yeah, what if I do qualify and then I need a visa? But we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm sure we'll find a way to make it work. We've given ourselves plenty of time between the qualifications ending and the tournament starting that we can sort out travel and all of that stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. It's really cool to actually be able to use the studio and get everyone in one place and actually, have a serious competitive tournament on stage with no lag on LAN and actually have everyone under one roof. So that's really cool. And last time we had sort of like we had a launch event basically. It was a really good opportunity to meet people, and we had a lot to drink and we had a lot to eat, and we just had a really nice time. So it's pretty great. But here we go, we're in the lobby. And we've got GiveUAnxiety. He locked in the Germans. Thomasgreen now on Japanese, but we may see a change of civ from him.
Yeah, right. And about that launch event, that was the event where the players also had to play some chess, right?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah, we were just kind of like, we didn't want to make a super serious tournament. I mean, in retrospect, we probably should have done something more serious. Because we just wanted to have fun, really. It was more of like a party than anything. We had lots of people here. Everyone was sort of drinking, having fun. We didn't want to sort of make this really serious environment for the very launch of our stream. We just wanted to have fun and sort of celebrate the fact that we had this opportunity. So we had the players playing like chess at the same time, and we've made some like custom games as well. And I had a lot of fun with it, and I think that the players enjoyed it as well. But obviously, it was never going to be a super competitive thing. So next time there will be.
That was very fun to watch. I mean, I didn't follow everything, but I watched a little bit and it was very interesting.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you thought so. We received like a bit of a mixed sort of response to that. Some people were expecting really serious stuff, and others didn't know what to expect, and they were kind of thinking, oh, this is kind of cool, but...
Well, if that was an AoE3, Tony, maybe I would have been one of the people saying, yeah, I want something more competitive.
Maybe.
Vampires 2, I just thought it was fun, right? But I can understand how someone who likes really high-level play would want something more serious. But
yeah, right, exactly.
For me, it was just fun.
Yeah, I mean, the point is it was supposed to be fun, and in the future, we have plenty of opportunities to do serious tournaments and serious events as well. And it gave us an opportunity to work out the kinks. Yes. The studio was a very new thing at the time, and we hadn't figured everything out yet. So it gave us an opportunity to do something a bit less serious while figuring out the problems that we had. And then next time when we do a serious offline event, we'll actually be more prepared, and we'll be able to actually learn from our mistakes and make something better. But it looks like we're seeing Thomasgreen locking in the Japanese here for Game 2. Fertile Crescent. We've moved over to Game Ranger now, but that's absolutely fine because both players are well prepared, and we've got them both locking in. So Game 2 coming up between Thomasgreen and GiveUAnxiety. It was a strong first game from GiveUAnxiety. I think a lot of people favored the Indians in that matchup, and I think a lot of people also favoring GiveUAnxiety overall. We'll see what can happen here in Game 2 as Thomasgreen now will be picking up the Japanese as a counter pick or a response pick to GiveUAnxiety, who locked in the Germans. Fertile Crescent loading up, and we'll be in game in just a hot second here. There we go, we're in.
Not sure. I mean, lots of people say this matchup is very German favored. I personally think it's maybe a little bit German favored, but it's definitely rather close. But I don't think that would be like, I don't think counter-picking Germany with Japan is the wisest thing to do. Then again, I say that for Tideria as well, but it didn't. It was rather close, so we'll have to see. I'm gonna let you introduce the players.
Yeah, for sure. So up to the north here in the blue, GiveUAnxiety, and then down to the south in the green, it is Thomasgreen, and he's playing as the Japanese. Now, we did see this very matchup earlier on. It wasn't on this map, but it was Germany versus Japan, and like you said, Thar, he actually came back after quite a rough start and looked like, with his upgraded Honored Ashigaru Musketeer, he was in a position to actually fight the German player back. But then at that point, it was Soldier. He had 4 heavy cannons, and there was nothing that Thar could do. We'll see if Thomasgreen can find something in this game against GiveUAnxiety. And obviously, he picked the Japanese here, so he must have a game plan.
They are brothers. GiveUAnxiety and Soldier, but they do not have the same play style. And I don't actually remember seeing GiveUAnxiety play too much Germany, but it's going to be more standard than what Soldier did for sure. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Okay, so we're expecting to see something a little more standard from GUA. And, as far as like they go, I think Soldier is regarded to be like the higher rated player, right?
Compared to GiveUAnxiety?
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, Soldier is a top player at the moment, and GiveUAnxiety is just is a good player, but not top.
Right.
Definitely.
Okay.
And I haven't seen GiveUAnxiety play too much Germany really, so I'm curious to see how well it's gonna play. I have to say Germany is my main civ. I'm quite known for playing that, and so I might be a little bit picky when I watch German players, but. It's gonna be interesting for sure. One thing we should talk about is the fact that Japan started with a consulate, and that's a greedy way to do it.
Yeah.
If you remember, Thar, he didn't go for a consulate. Well, he built a TP because he had a wood treasure, but had he not found that wood treasure, he would have just done nothing, I guess.
Right.
So that is just lower. You gotta chop 100 wood basically to get your shrine up, and that's just the old way to do it. And it's definitely slow and greedy. Shipping the Kami as well. So basically right now he got nothing back from these cards. He's got nothing back from building a consulate. He's just delaying his age up and having less eco right now, just to be able a bit later on in transition to spam a ton of shrines basically.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem to be too happy about this, putting a little sad face in the chat. I'm not sure what prompted that exactly, but maybe he's just not feeling too good about his start.
There might have been some treasure contention that we didn't see, probably.
I saw GiveUAnxiety taking 65 coin. Thomasgreen, meanwhile, getting 50 coin. Overall, like they're basically even, I think, on treasure. Maybe slightly favoring GiveUAnxiety, actually.
Yeah, no really impactful treasures.
No.
So the most impactful treasure here would be 50 wood for Japan, but he got it after chopping everything for his consulate.
Right.
That would speed up quite a bit the age up. It's almost like 50 wood is almost worth 100 food. Although for Japan, not really, because they gather food a bit slower. But anyway, it's quite a nice treasure.
Yeah.
100 food now for Thomasgreen though, which could be very nice.
Yeah, helping with that age. He's already aging up. Sorry, but we'll see that coming in just a second. Also, we also see the trading post at the north of the map from GiveUAnxiety there, as well as the 2 settler wagons as expected. But yeah, we've got Toshogu's Shrine, so that's the one that buffs the shrines. And are we expecting him to see him place a lot of shrines down now and sort of spam them out across the map?
Right. Basically, gonna have 3 upgrades, let's say, on his shrines. First, he's got the Kami that makes them cheaper and gather faster. Then he's got the Portuguese consulate that makes them cheaper. And then he's going to get the Toshogu Shrine that makes them gather faster. So it's like much more efficient shrines, but it's quite costly to reach that point. Like you need to invest a lot into booming. And Germany might be countering that with like pikemen to siege them down, or just like a really early fortress push to punish this greedy play. So we'll have to see. But that's really the old way to play it, and it's going to be interesting to see if Thomasgreen can survive while playing that greedy.
I think what's interesting here is GUA actually going for the stable, which is exactly what Soldier did earlier in his match up against the Japanese as well. So we're probably expecting to see the Ulan coming out. And in fact, we see 3 settler wagons with, of course, 2 Ulan coming immediately. And then units in queue. We don't see any Ulan being queued up yet, but perhaps that will be on the cards very shortly once he gets a bit more food. There it is. So we'll see the 2 Ulan. Maybe he's trying to catch the thing now. And have you noticed he's called his explorers Game Ranger Boy? And what is Game Ranger? Oh, you gotta love it.
Yeah, and he's gonna maybe try to find these guys, these Game Ranger guys, and he could maybe be splitting his Ulans to cover a bit more ground, but he is probably gonna find that. Well, maybe not, but
no, he's gonna find this one in the north for sure. He's there, and he should poof away. There he goes, back to the TC.
Yeah, so denying a bit of shrining up there, and well, it's gonna be. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the stable start as Germany here. I feel like it doesn't achieve too much to train Ulans. But then again, it is still okay. Just they don't have as much siege as pikemen, for example.
Right.
So they're not that good at killing shrines, but they are definitely good at denying shrines, like denying the monks from building them.
Oh, GiveUAnxiety just going back there. He was about to go over the river, and he would have found the explorer there placing 2 shrines down. But meanwhile, he's going back to siege the shrine in the south. What have you seen?
Well, no, maybe they're not. I guess he didn't see the hunt. Like, he hadn't scouted that hunt. But now he found it, so he's sending one Ulan. Like, he saw a couple animals, and he's like, there's a hunt here.
But the shrine's already up, and I think he can poof away.
So that's just sad for GiveUAnxiety here. And that's also one of his next hunts, right? So he wants to free that hunt to eat it up.
On the right side as well, he literally just got the shrine up right as the Ulan killed it. So he just narrowly got that one up as well. So pretty, almost lucky for Thomasgreen, but he's also being denied. Oh, and there's Ashigaru there getting cleaned up.
Yeah, no Ulan dying there, just 5 ashes almost for free. That is no good for Thomasgreen here. He needs to be a little bit more careful with his ashes. Sure, they are anti-cav, but they are bad anti-cav compared to other musketeers. They're not very good against cav. At least before that close combat card in H3 that Tidere sent the other game. But in H2, they're just not very scary. And Germany, of course, gets a lot of Ulan, so you can't really just send 5 ashes like that. They just get wrecked. So gotta be a little bit more careful with these units, because you can't really afford to waste any units against Germany since they get a big mass of stuff. So
yeah. We are going to see more ashes coming out, though, and this time there's going to be a bigger mass before dealing with the Ulan. But really, I mean, GUA is just going around sieging the shrines at the moment, just trying to deny that resource income. It's a form of raiding, and it's kind of worthwhile to do this, I guess. He's going to struggle to find villagers inside of Thomasgreen's base. But, you do raise a valid point then. In that case, why not just go for some pikes as well and just get that extra siege damage?
Basically, the reason why you would go for Ulans and pikes is that pikes are pretty much worthless in fights against Japan, while Ulans, well, they will get upgraded to veteran because you need to get that upgrade anyway. So he's kind of already building up his mass while doing some economic damage. But at the same time, making so many Ulans just delays your age up. So if you could make 5 pikes and have basically the same siege, kill as many shrines but age up earlier, it might be better in my opinion. And then you might, instead of making that many Ulans, just make 5 pikes and get a stagecoach here, because that's a good TP line if you would take that TP and stagecoach it up. It's quite nice.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's alright what GiveUAnxiety is doing. I just feel like it's not the most efficient way to siege down the shrines. And you see, he's aging up at 930. I don't know how you age up times, but 930 is rather late. Overall.
Okay. So, he is up now. I mean, Thomasgreen is still in the colonial age, though. So, it will be Fortress versus Colonial for now. And I imagine that the Ulans will get their veterancy quite soon. Although he has no wood, actually. He's got no villagers on wood either.
600 coin coming in just now. I could see that Japan was macroed for an age up, and he's just getting these gold crates and gonna click up. So not super early, but not too much later than Germany. And he did ship 4 villagers twice. So if he can get away with that, he's gonna have pulling back the villager just in time. So basically 3 or 4 Ulans dying for free there.
Yeah,
Almost.
1 HP, 1 HP Ulan. Quick, build a priest. This man needs a doctor. But yeah, we do have the H3 coming in, Golden Pavilion there, as well as the Veteran Ulan upgrade coming in as well now. The Yamabushi does, want to fight. They actually do take down that TP at the top, actually. That's really nice, but then the skirms should clean them up now. Still pretty good for Thomasgreen to get the TP there.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I mean, yeah, killing the TP is nice, but you already need all the anti-cav you can get against Germany. So, well, it's looking okay for Japan there, but we have to see how it goes. Like right now, we can't know who's gonna win that. It looks okay for Japan, but it's gonna be one big fight for sure soon when Japan is up, and if he can hold once he's aged up, he will be okay.
Villager going down, and the villagers on the Wonder going down as well. Not so good. The veterancy upgrade is in, the cavalry attack upgrade is in as well, and it looks like he'll get a quick, nice raid off there. Sentries being called, and GiveUA will back away. Now, I do think this is decent for the Japanese. After watching Tadare earlier, I can see how, by stalling out a little bit here and upgrading his units in the next stage, he could be in a decent position. But does he have an answer to the skirmishers, which GiveUA is now training?
Well, he's trying to lay down a stable, but he needs to finish it. And Ashigarus are faster than skirmishers, so eventually you can just catch up with them. They can't hit and run you forever or something. So
right.
Skirmishers are not too scary. But GiveUAnxiety is stacking so much gold. I think he's gonna go for a mercenary shipment next, and that will probably be the Jaegers, because he has a lot of Ulans and they have cav combat on them, so they're very strong. So he might not need too much anti-cav. I don't think he will ship the Black Riders, which are kind of dragoons. Although, never mind, he doesn't have
Jaegers. Yeah, I was just about to say, I thought maybe I was missing something, but maybe it could be the...
Because for me, like, obvious, you should have Jaeger in every German deck.
Right.
Always, they're so strong. But, okay, so I'm probably going to go for Black Riders, and that's alright as well. The Cherry Orchards, though...
Oh, he's going to get them down. He's okay. He's okay.
He's fine. That was close.
Yeah, a little bit too close. But yeah, the Ashigaru there trying to chase him down. He's going to meet the veteran skirmishers on the right side. He's got some Yumi archers here. How do the Yumis perform in this, actually, against the skirms?
They have less range, which can be a problem if your opponent has a good micro and can abuse these 2 extra range he has.
Yeah.
But they are stronger in straight-up fights. Like, they're just... Yumis are so strong. But he has only 6 of them from the age of... Actually, only 3 left, so they don't really matter right now. He needs to get his Ashigaru upgrade now. He really needs to upgrade these guys and ship some units and defend.
Yeah, I mean, he shipped the rickshaws, right? So at the moment, he's not got a shipment, I think. I mean, what could he send here? He's got 8 Ashigaru he could send. He's got 5 Naginata riders, although he does have 5 more out now, as he just trained them from the stable. Meanwhile, we've got 9 Ulan being shipped, so we've got a lot more Ulan coming across the map from GiveUA.
So no Black Riders. He was just mismacroed then, I guess, floating 1k gold. But yeah, the thing is that the unit composition is just better for Japan here, but his units are not upgraded. Like, there's nothing to shield the skirmishers from the Ashes and the Nagis. He can just go in melee mode with his Ashes, but they have to be upgraded, and he's upgrading them too late for the fight. And I think Germany is just going to clean this up.
Yeah, it seems a little bit wasteful to do the upgrade right after you send your units in.
Yeah.
It looks like they'll get cleaned up. And those Naginata in the front lines were doing a good job for a while, but I guess after they're gone, that's it. Now the disciplined Ashigaru are done, but it's too late. There's only 5 left, and that's going to be a GG right there, I think, as GiveUA has 69 military units against 0. And he can start laying waste to Thomasgreen's base. Those villagers on that cherry orchard are going down as well. And that should be the end of that.
If it wasn't GG already, it definitely be now. 5 Nagis popping just off timing, like just too late. not upgraded either. Like in that fight, he had full H2 units. So at this point, you might as well be fighting in Colonial. Let's think about what he got from aging up. This Japan player, he got no unit shipment because he had to ship the cherry orchards, which are an H2 shipment. He had no upgrade on his units, so he had just nothing from aging. In fact, he just wasted more than 2k resources into aging. Instead, he could have had much more units in Colonial, right? So
yeah, for sure.
He might, in fact, have been okay playing it in Colonial when you think about it. If you add like an extra 15 Ashes or 10 Nagis on top of what he had,
right.
Because he didn't invest into aging up, and maybe like the Daimyo, which makes all your units stronger, he might have been okay there. But yeah, that wasn't the greatest Fortress age for Japan here.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, he got so little from it. I think the timing was off with that engagement, you know. It makes me wonder why then, you know, why did he push then when he knew he had the veterancy upgrade coming in? He could have just held off for a little bit longer and then maybe it could have gone a lot better for him. It's hard to say, but yeah, it just seems like a little bit of a poor timing on the fight. And maybe maybe even better than that would have been to just get those 15 extra Ashes out or the 10 extra Naganatas, as you said, and not age at all.
Earlier, but like that was just a bit sloppy here, and yeah, and I couldn't understand if he got caught, right? Like if he would get caught by all these Ulans and had to fight, I would understand. But he was actually pushing in with his Ashes before the upgrade came in, and that was just not the wisest thing to do. But yeah, good game anyway, and. Up to, like, GiveUAnxiety being up to 0, so that's much point now.
Yep, it is, and I think we're going to be coming all the way back here because I think GUA closed the game, and Thomasgreen's back in the lobby as well, so we'll relaunch from Game Ranger, and we'll get the third game going in a moment. Pampas Sierras up next, and GiveUAnxiety leading 2-0, so he'll need to first pick, giving Thomasgreen the opportunity to counterpick, and hopefully, we'll see a good counter pick from him. What do you expect GUA will pick next? Maybe the French? Maybe the British?
Wait a second. Before we should maybe... I mean, wait, we're restarting now, and... Because we need to know what GUA picks so that he can build a deck, and so that Thomasgreen can counter pick and build his deck.
Ah, you know what I mean? I see. Yeah, you're right. Well, I guess we'll be in the lobby in a second, and then we'll figure it out, because maybe he has the deck already. I don't know if he prepared his deck for the next map anyway. I don't know if he's necessarily going to be counter picking or just comfort picking.
Ah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, we'll have to see. So sorry, what was your
I was saying, GUA, what's he likely to pick next? Sort of French, British, or something a little different?
I would say British. I don't even know which map it is. But
Pampas Sierras is the next map.
Oh, yeah, British then. It's his main civ by far. And India would be very strong on Pampas Sierras, but he has used it already.
Okay.
So honestly, it has to be British there. I don't think there is any other civ GUA can play there, honestly. Like, he can play France, but it's just inferior on no-tip maps compared to Brits, so I expect Brits for sure.
Yeah, it seems to be very strong and certainly hard to counter pick, so I'll see if I can get in the game now, but I didn't want to, I joined too soon, and there we go, we're in. So GUA, he's currently got French selected and locked, so there you go, French.
Yeah. Never mind.
Pampas Sierras.
Maybe he just feels very confident in this match because really you can ask anyone in the AoE3 community, they will tell you that GiveUAnxiety's main civ is Brits by far, and it's kind of surprising to me that he doesn't pick them on an OTP map, which has decent hacks. But that's interesting.
Sure. He's locking it in, and Thomasgreen's asking if he can try Japanese again. He's absolutely entitled to do that if that's what he wants to do. Obviously, he has a deck for them, and maybe he wants to try his luck against the against the French here. So we're going to see him locking that in. It's going to be French for GiveUAnxiety, Japanese for Thomasgreen, and if we've got that civ screen ready, transition over when you're all ready, and I'll start up. Here we go. So we're going into game 3. It's match point between GiveUAnxiety and Thomasgreen. GiveUAnxiety leads 2-0 as we go on to Pampas Sierras. Thomasgreen, does pick Japanese twice in a row. He had a good showing with Japanese last game, but in the end, his timing was a little bit off, and maybe he'll learn from that mistake and sort of change his game plan a little bit into game 3 here. GiveUAnxiety going with the French, obviously standard solid pick. And speaking of GiveUAnxiety, he is spawning down to the south of the map in the blue with Thomasgreen in the green up to the north. Kaiserklein, how do you feel about this, going for the Japanese again? What does Thomasgreen need to do differently here against the French?
Well, it's very different anyway, so I don't think he will... Like, it's probably going to be a colonial war here. Like, France can age, but without a trading post, you get much less shipments, and it's not that interesting. And plus, French is just more comfortable playing it out in colonial than Germany, for example, because they have musketeers, they have hussars, which are just overall better units than, like, doppelsoldiers and uhlans. So it's going to be different. It's going to be different. It's going to be probably a pressure from France. I don't want to, like, lie or something. I don't know what he's going to do, but it should be probably, like, some infantry rush from France here.
Okay. Well, we'll see, as at the moment, both players sending their scouts out, of course, and seeing what treasuring they can get done. We are seeing, actually, the Courrier de Bois being, sort of tickled a little bit here on the right side. Thomasgreen's very tempted by that. There are 4 wolves defending it, but at the moment he's got his 2 scouts split up as the llamas are getting lamed. Rather see them dead than in the hands of his enemy, I think.
Exactly, yeah. And GiveUAnxiety is going to stumble across that CDB. So I don't think any of these players are going to be able to pick up the CDB treasure just now because it's just too risky.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, they're just trying to take the llamas on the left. GiveUAnxiety with his native scout, interestingly, trying to cut off the llamas coming back from these cliffs on the left to Thomasgreen's base, but not finding any. But that's a good move.
Yeah, he's being pretty smart about it.
Sorry?
He's being pretty smart about it with the positioning. And
like now he would have got it, like it was not
right.
Like he couldn't guess, right? But he tried, and that's good. And there's still quite a few llamas to pick up on the left.
Yeah, there's one dead one, and then there's 2 more. So GiveUAnxiety may have the edge here if he comes and collects the ones down in the south. For the time being, though, he's going to grab another one and send it home. But yeah, on the right side, it looks like he's going for the courier. The what is Game Ranger hero here, standing by and gets it. He's got it. He's got it.
Yeah,
it's his.
Has been doing that. So that's really good for Japan.
Man, imagine being that courier, like coming down from his rock and being like, "Which side am I on?" All right, looks like you got me first.
And like, hey buddy, I'm French, right? But Japan got me. What is this?
I'm more loyal to the Japanese here because he was the guy who saved me, a fraction of a second before. But 90 food on the right side for GiveUAnxiety here, and currently you can see the treasuring on the screen. Both of them can make. Oh no, they can't. It's only GiveUAnxiety can make pasta sauce. Apparently, Thomasgreen does not have the ability to make pasta sauce with his cherry orchard. Quite a gross pasta sauce, actually.
Sorry, come again?
I said it would be quite a gross pasta sauce if you made it with cherries.
Oh, yeah.
But it will actually be Thomasgreen who picks up the remaining llama on the left side, and we'll send that home. But for now, we're just waiting to see that transition up to Colonial. We've got the Quartermaster coming in for GiveUAnxiety, and we will see the shipment sent will be 3 couriers, and it's Heavenly Kami again for Thomasgreen, going up with the Toshogu Shrine and also the Portuguese Consulate. So it's a very similar start to last game. He seems to be set on this sort of shrine or approach later on in the game.
He's just probably comfortable playing it that way because for years and years, Japanese players have been playing it like that. And nowadays it's not considered to be very, very strong, but it's not horrible, right? People have been doing that, including some players for years. And it's just really hard to pull it just because you're so slow. Like you're edging up slow, and then you have to make a lot of shrines to make it pay off, so you're even slower, and you have to defend really well when you're doing that.
Yeah.
And especially on the coin start again, like this coin's still on the floor because he can't use it for anything. And France has built a market with that coin. So
yeah, right, and I'm interested to see this because last game he defended quite well from the Germans, and I feel like the German rush with the Ulans probably got more potential to do damage than the French with Hussar, right? Like the Ulan can just catch you out that much faster, and it looks like this time around, even adding in some walls to make himself extra safe. And I want to add as well, that CDB he actually chopped down. I want to find the tree he was cutting. Yeah, he chopped down like 73 wood. So that CDB essentially turning into a 73 wood treasure, and then he's still going to go back home and continue working. So that's quite nice for Thomasgreen.
Pretty good. It's just one of the best treasures. I personally even think this kind of treasure should not exist because it's so impactful and it's always a bit lucky to find a treasure, and I would like this kind of stuff removed, honestly, because it's just really OP. Okay. But it's definitely very nice for Thomasgreen there. And he's probably like just building some walls because, like I said earlier, he expects an infantry pressure. So it's not just going to be some Ulans raiding on the map or Hussars or whatever. It's just there's a Rax right up there. And there's going to be... What are we going to see there? Units in queue. 5 pikes and then musketeers. So I kind of like it just because the pikes, I talked about it previous game, are gonna tear through these shrines, and then he can make regular infantry units like ranged infantry to pressure the base, while the pikes are just running around and killing the shrines.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we were kind of talking about last game, and these 5 pikes are going to be so much more effective than like 10 Ulan. And this time around, he's actually gone for the pike approach while the muskets follow up. But we've got Yumi archers coming out straight away from Thomasgreen, so it's a slightly different approach from him as well. He's actually going to go for the Yumis to begin with, and that should deal quite well with everything that GUA is making so far. It's just whether or not he can actually catch him and maybe get out on the map to do some damage. I think Thomasgreen needs some confidence and needs to try and force a fight and actually push GUA around a little bit rather than playing sort of passively for the entire game.
Yeah, then again, it's a bit better to be passive in this game than in the previous one against Germany, just because, like I said, there's no trading post here, so there is not going to be any kind of super scary early fortress timing like we had.
That's a good point. Yeah, that was a good point.
It's a bit more comfortable playing it slowly, and the longer it goes in Colonial, usually the better it gets for Japan in this matchup. So we'll have to see. Has definitely to be a little bit careful with these Yumis up there. Because pikemen are not good at killing Yumis, but if they can catch them, and then the musketeers could stab them down.
Right, exactly. I mean, he actually almost took a fight with the muskets there, but have you seen anything else?
32 HP, that's one swing of 1 pike here, and he didn't finish it.
Oh, that's a good point. But oh man, he's going to throw away a couple of muskets here, perhaps getting out with 7 HP. Those Yumis looking quite scary. And, GUA actually quite preoccupied with sieging these shrines. I'm wondering, we've not seen Thomasgreen even build any shrines on the right side yet. These ostrich-looking things could easily be shrined up next.
Yeah, I think he will. I mean, he has to make this early investment pay off, right? The Portuguese consulate, the Kami, Toshugo Shrine. You want to make this pay off as much as possible. And he's building more of these. And, well, it's looking pretty okay for Japan here. And GiveUAnxiety is actually going to age. So he's not going for some kind of colonial push, which, in my opinion, kind of plays into Japan's hands just because it's that much slower without a trading post that it's going to give lots of time to Japan to keep shrining.
That's true. I just noticed as well, GUA added a second barracks, and at home he added the stable. After seeing all those Yumis, I thought it was strange that he'd add a second barracks here. I thought the stable might have been a better call, but he's done both, so he'll be able to at least queue out some Hussar perhaps and get in there with those. Because right now there's actually no anti-cav here at all, right?
Yeah, and Thomasgreen pushing out that perfect time, to be honest. Just when GiveUAnxiety clicks up, just when GiveUAnxiety is the weakest, right? He just invested more than 2k resources into aging and got nothing from it for now. So he's not gonna be able to defend these racks probably. So he's gonna lose his forward military facilities, which means that his push will be delayed. If he wanted to go for some kind of musketeer falconet composition, he will have to rebuild Raxes in base and make again some musketeers from there, and that is always a pain.
2 Falcons here, though, could be a really good shipment for GUA, and I didn't see what his population changed to, but it seems to make sense for that to be on the way, given the army composition of Thomasgreen right now. He doesn't even have a stable. He's building it, however, so he's very well aware that Falconet shipment could be on the way. Getting some Naginata out could be a good idea. Nice to see the reaction.
A batch of Huss in transition, but how scary is that? I mean, he just aged. He can't take a fight, so why would you try to catch with Huss? But it's gonna work because Japan is gonna pull back. I think he should have just stayed and killed that Rax.
Yeah, right.
GiveUAnxiety has big wood problems right now. He needs to upgrade his musketeers. He needs to build houses, maybe to rebuild a second Rax or repair that one. Like, he is short on wood a bit. He had to buy some, and it's looking quite good for Japan. Yeah.
We just got the Shogun though, and Daimyo Matsuyama, I think is his name, that guy. But you're right. I mean, he actually ended up shipping 3 Kuroshis here and defending his racks.
How scary is his French army right now? It's not very scary. I mean,
not
the
really.
only upgraded veteran units are the Kriers, and everything else is age 2. So again, why would you age up if you just get nothing out of aging up? He needs to tech his get Falconet, something like that.
It's a good question. And here's Daimyo himself with his 650 health. And he's got some Naginata there as well. But once again, Thomasgreen does seem a little bit afraid to take a fight. And this army is going to be reinforced with 4 more Kuroshis in a second. How's this going to go? If you can focus down the Kuroshis here, it might be okay. But they're just so incredibly strong. 500 HP each. This can't go well for Thomasgreen here, surely.
It can go well if he positions properly and micros well, but now he's going in melee mode, having his behind the wall, and I think Thomasgreen is actually totally fine there.
Okay.
More ashes as well.
Yeah. I was going to say more ashes coming out, but the Kuroshe is still standing strong. Fortunately, he does manage to get behind his walls here. That's a good job.
Yeah, the Daimyo also a little bit out of position. His aura of effect was not really working on most of the units. Maybe you could see some Minutemen pop to help a little bit there.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Honestly, Japan could have held that much more easily. He's still okay, but he lost a lot of ashes there, and that might be just a good trade for France.
Well, if he can clean this up without losing too many villagers or any villagers, that's going to be good for him because he is ahead in economic population right now, but he does just need to get those units out, and he's got to be very careful not to fall into the trap of sending his units in one by one and just sort of getting overly pressured here. Thomasgreen in a position to actually play on, and that was not a game-ending push, but it did go, I think, quite well for GUA. The Kuroshis were quite effective, but Thomasgreen's going to rebound, sending his Daimyo out and buffing those units up.
Honestly, a solid Japan player here would have just cleaned up GiveUAnxiety and would probably proceed to win the game now. But regardless, he's still okay. Like, Japan is losing now, but he's okay, probably. He just needs to deal with the Falconets now. And also, GiveUAnxiety was able to push and get quite a good trade while shipping 1k wood and laying down now a second town center to catch up with the Japanese eco and probably outboom him pretty soon.
Yeah, we might think that's to come in next. And I'm interested to see how this goes. This time around, Thomasgreen didn't do the quick age 3. He's sending his cherry orchards in age 2, and if he does manage to get up later on, he'll at least have the age 3 cards to send without having to send the cherry orchards now. So his build seems to be a little bit more solid this time around. And opening with the Yumis seemed to be pretty strong as well. But he has got to, of course, be very careful not to leave his army too exposed, and obviously he's very weak to cav at the moment, I feel. So he's definitely going to need to get some more anti-cav in here, and he's kind of low on the Ashigaru at the moment.
He was already a little bit low on Ashes for the first fight, and then he didn't position them too well. Like, they just died way too fast. Could have maybe been kiting a little bit more with his Ashes before sending them in melee mode and stuff, and now he can't go out like that. He needs something to just feel safe, right? You can't just walk across the map against a sieve that can make clears without some musketeers.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's very, very risky, I feel. But he is walking out across the map. And we talked about having confidence earlier. Not this kind of confidence. The confidence to go when the time is right. But hey, he's actually going to go straight past GiveUAnxiety's army. And this is scary because he's getting in very deep behind enemy lines now. And I think he's just noticed he's sending the Dragoons back.
So there are no clears, so it's really risky, but it might pay off. In fact, there's no cav to catch him. There is nothing to challenge the Yumis except the 2 Falconets, but the 2 Falconets are not mobile. So in fact, Thomasgreen is fine running around the map here, but if there's any clears on the way, he's going to be toast. And also he needs to bring his Daimyo and his units here. That's just big.
Yeah, the Daimyo seems to be a little out of position, and oh, that's a cannon shot.
That volley was, oh my god.
We got a raid, though, onto the couriers in the middle of the map. Naginata getting some kills. Nice. That's very nice. And in fact, he might get a few more. They're going to stand and fight. But the Yumi are here as well now. And whoa, the Skirm's going to pop right on top of that. They're going to go down as well. And meanwhile, the Dragoons coming in, trying to clean up those Naginatas, but going to be faced with a volley full of a face full of arrows. Yeah. Sorry. But yeah, it's still a very risky position. Thomasgreen, I think, is going to get cleaned up here.
Yumis are really a hard counter to Dragoons. Like, they're better than skirmishers, for example, against Dragoons, because they have more base attack. They're just better against Goons, and he has so many Dragoons, but if he tries to actually go in, if Thomasgreen shoots, but he's not shooting, he could kill lots of Goons now.
Now he's sort of trapped between the TC as well. The cannons are in tow, and the Naginatas missed their opportunity there to kill a bunch of couriers. They're chasing them down. GUA reacting very quickly and saving those couriers off that coin mine. He will actually lose the Naginatas to the Dragoons in the end as he sends the rest of his army home. But look at that military population now. It's looking scary. And that second TC from GUA just keeping him ahead in economic population, even after losing a few of those couriers out here.
Exactly, yeah. He just lost a bunch of CDBs, and he still has the same eco. And he's up 1 age. He's got calf combat. Japan does have both of his infantry upgrades and Daimyo, but he's aging now with 1/3 of the military of GUA. And how do you stop this now? How do you buy enough time to age up, ship flaming arrows to deal with the Falconets, upgrade your Yumis? I don't know, like, and all these builds are just very...
Yeah, he's got too much to do, and he's not got enough time to do it in, unfortunately. He's going to have one last shot at it, though. Irregulars being called now. The Yumi Archers picking off some of the muskets, and there you go. Naginata's trying to get onto the Falcons. They will get onto them, and they will pick, I think, both Falcons off here. Oh, yeah. That last Falcon with 50 HP does stay up.
But still, at which cost, right? He's lost 7 or 8 Nagis. Even for 2 Falconets, it's not really worth it. It's something you can do when you have more military. Like, 2, you have more mass, you trade like 7 or 8 caps for 2 Falconets, and it's just okay. But when you're already behind in military and you have to waste that much cap for 1 Falconet and a half, well, that's true. It's even more behind now.
Yeah, Thomasgreen's about to hit the Fortress Age, but it's just too little, too late. There's only 20 military on the field, 37 economy units against the 82 military of GUA. He's just going to get absolutely steamrolled here. He does have a shipment, though. He could send the 8 Ashes or the 2 flaming arrows, but it just feels like it's going to be too little, too late here.
Yeah, he's just falling apart. He's losing some clubs now. The skirmishers are getting free kills on the Yumis, I think, because they have more range, and he's just got more. The shrines getting sieged down to 6 shrines, or soon 5 shrines on the map. So GiveUAnxiety is shipping that infantry attack card as well, so just GG,
Yeah, there it is. GG called Thomasgreen. tapping out right there, and GG's all round. Unfortunately, that marks the end of Thomasgreen's journey in the New World Championships, as this was a lower bracket game, meaning that Thomasgreen is now eliminated and GUA will go forward into the second round of the lower bracket. I don't know who he's going to be facing next, but we'll keep you posted with all of the information about the New World Championships as and when we get it. All the information, of course, for this tournament can be found on eso-community.net, and you can follow along there. But nice try by Thomas. He did give it a good shot. Unfortunately, just getting outplayed. GUA clearly the better player today.
Indeed, yeah. There was not much needed for Thomasgreen to maybe win that game, but he just didn't have what he took, right? Yeah. Like, he really not that far from being okay, but just that one fight where he lost all his ashes, I think we can see it in the military graph, was not the worst trade, but you can see he was just behind. And you need to win fights when you're 1 age behind. You can't just like take meh trade. You need to crush your opponent's army. And
crush them.
But it was a good series.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that said, you need to crush them. Well, we'll see if you're going to be crushing anyone tomorrow, because we have a best-of-9 show match between you and Hazza at 17 GMT tomorrow. That's 6 p.m. in the UK, 7 p.m. if you're in Europe, and I think it's 1 p.m. in the afternoon if you're on the east coast of the US. So definitely come and tune in on this channel tomorrow at those times. We'll be updating the stream title and posting in our Discord to remind you all. But definitely tune in for that. There's $100